Am I the asshole for telling my wife to get over my daughter's short hair? I 40M and my wife 42F have been married for 5 years. I have a 14-year-old daughter from a previous relationship. Her mother wanted nothing to do with her when she was born. When I met my wife, she was worried about being a bad stepmother to my daughter. They became close and they do a spa day every Mother's Day. My daughter has very long hair down to her shoulders. She hates putting it up in ponytails and she complains about the length of time it takes to blow dry. She's a big tomboy and one of her friends recommended she gets a pixie cut. I booked her an appointment to get the cut she wanted and she was very happy. She's been in such a great mood and loves having the short hair. When I brought her home to see wife, my wife dropped what she was doing and looked like she was about to faint. She asked why I allowed daughter to cut all her hair off. I told her that this is the cut my daughter wanted. My wife got furious and started telling me about how I ruined daughter's image. I shot back at her to get over the haircut as it made daughter happy. That was all I wanted, was my daughter to be happy. My wife continued to complain about the haircut even around my daughter, and I had to tell her multiple times to drop it. My daughter has been very depressed and it's worrying me. I have been giving my wife the cold shoulder and she's being very cold to both me and daughter. Am I the asshole for telling my wife to get over my daughter's short hair?
My fiancé, F27, wants to become a trad wife after our wedding, and I am 29, am tempted to call off the wedding as a result. Should I call off the wedding? I am a 29 male and my fiancée is a 27-year-old female named Kate. I am using a throwaway account because Kate, not her real name, is an avid Reddit user, and I feel I am in a major dilemma that concerns her, specifically our future together. I have been with Kate for 4 years, engaged for 1, and due to get married this coming July. I do love Kate and can't wait to spend the rest of my life with her. But lately she has been becoming serious about becoming a trad wife after getting married, and I'm having a hard time getting on board. A bit of background of our lifestyle. We live in a major city and in an overall HCOL area. I earn an average salary working in accounts. She earns an aux salary as a full-time store manager for a popular clothing chain. Together, we earn enough to pay rent for a small flat, pay the bills, and have a small amount left over for some small luxuries, takeout, going to the movies, etc. It takes forever for us to make substantial savings, most of which are going to this wedding, but we are doing OK. But that is with 2 incomes. While I do earn more than her, it's not megabucks more, and if we drop to just 1 income, presumably mine, we would just be surviving. True, her salary isn't anything glamorous, but it's enough to help pay the bills and add to the savings pot. In the area we live, it will tough if we lose her income. Now for the issue. Shortly after New Year's, Kate and I were just chilling out on the couch after a work day when Kate brought up post-wedding life and mentioned the idea of becoming a trad wife after marriage. I had never heard of this before and asked her what that was. She explained that it meant traditional wife, and it was a wife that stayed home, looked after the household chores including cleaning and cooking, and more importantly looked after the husband by attending to his needs. I said that sounded like a housewife, and she said it was more than just a normal housewife, because a trad wife does everything herself to look after the home and husband without any paid work. This still sounds like a housewife to me, but whatever. I was thrown off guard by this, as Kate has never shown any desire of just staying at home before. The only time it was discussed was in relation to kids, which she said she was happy being a stay-at-home mom for when our kids were young because on her salary we'd probably be paying more for childcare anyway. More to the point, the idea of her just staying home all day cleaning and cooking is a bit strange to me when we live in such a small place. Between the 2 of us we can clean the whole flat in half a day. It takes me about half an hour to vacuum and mop all floors, for example. When I self-processed that, I thought she was joking, but she was dead serious. I was then very surprised and asked her what made her suddenly desire to just stay at home and not work. To my shock, she said TikTok of all things. Apparently there is videos and TikTokers that are these trad wives that talk about how great the lifestyle is and how happy their marriages are. These trad wives claim their husbands are always happy and home life is the best. So Kate wants that for us too. I told her that it wouldn't make me happy. It makes no sense. We live in a small flat that requires little upkeep. We have no kids for her to stay at home with, and most importantly, we can't afford it. Again, I understand her income isn't great, but it isn't pitiful, and it does help maintain our current lifestyle, which isn't that glamorous to begin with. She gave a non-committal shrug, and I thought that was the end of it. Nope, she approached me again a few days later with the idea. I told her that I was against it. I tried to pry more about why she suddenly wanted to be a trad wife, but she just kept banging on about TikTok and how she really does feel that her staying home would be the best thing for our marriage. I again reiterated the reasons why I thought it was a bad idea and do not support it. She keeps bringing it up. Now, it seems she's adamant. I can't get anything more out of her apart from the whole TikTok says it's good for our marriage. I watched some of those TikTok videos and I'm sorry but they come across as really creepy. There is this one blonde lady who I swear is one microchip away from going full Stepford wife. I have no problems with housewives in terms of if you live in a huge house, and you really can live on one income, but that is not the case for us. More to the point, a housewife seems to be doing something outside the home, doing volunteer work, being a part of a club or society etc. to fill the time. These tradwives seem to do nothing but dress like Lucille Ball and cook bread from scratch. It's bizarre and not something I am looking for in a long-term partner. Kate cannot seem to let this go and she's become a bit obsessed. She's starting to learn new recipes for her new married life as a tradwife, but keeps complaining that she doesn't have time to feed us both properly as a new family because of her job. I told her to do these fancy things on the weekend, but she just shot back she should have all the time. She keeps following these TikTokers and is starting to get new clothes more fitting for a tradwife lifestyle. I don't know how much more I can tell Kate how much I am against this, and it's falling on deaf ears. As a result, I am seriously reconsidering our relationship. Kate has always worked, and while I don't expect her to be a ball-busting career woman, I don't want this as an alternative. I want an equal partner, and this tradwife thing doesn't seem equal. It seems creepy and finished in the 1950s for a reason. Should I call the wedding? I am honestly at lost what to do. Kate seems committed to doing this tradwife thing and I am, just not. My best mate tells me now that I've reached the point of not wanting to get married anymore that I at least need to really sit down with Kate and tell her straight up where my head is at. But I've tried to talk to her before and she doesn't budge. Any help would be appreciated. Update. Friend's sister, 20s F, was openly flirting with my husband, 40M, in front of me, 31F. I told her off publicly and now they want a public apology from me. What action should I take so that I don't ruin my friendship? Keeping it as short as I can and typos galore cause I'm on call. Previous post got so popular that Amy's mom found it and texted me to take down, in all caps. I got around to read most of the comments a day after I posted when I finished my shift. I did not apologize to anyone or did anything at all. Frankly, I forgot about it since I had people close to dying on me left and right at work. I gaslit Amy's mom into thinking that I never did such a thing and that I did not have a Reddit account. She believed it, I think, since she didn't text me back. Mom, the details I put in that post were exactly what she experienced and she didn't find it odd. For clarification, one of you said I had a spine of a jellyfish, loved that comment, and not apologizing was the right thing to do. I was hesitant and was actually considering giving that apology because of the fact that she fed me and let me stay in her home during Thanksgiving and Christmas many years ago when I couldn't go home to my family. I'm the kind of person who'll remember every good thing you do for me and do my best to reciprocate or get even so as to not be indebted to you. What kind of mental illness is that? I never retained much of the psychiatric info from med school. A lot of people insinuated that me being docile and restrained in those kinds of situations makes me a bad surgeon, to which I say I beg your effing pardon. Would you want someone who's operating on you have a criminal record for causing bodily harm/homicide? Also, I've dealt with worse than Amy. I've survived handling 19 psychotic patients with TBIs for a whole rotation. Me being aggressive would have gotten me kicked out of my fellowship. Things that have transpired. I tried to avoid contacting Lisa since she went off on her honeymoon, but because of the popularity of my previous post, I decided to give her a heads up. Lisa was more than apologetic. In fact, she FaceTimed me, and we had a very teary conversation about her family. There were a lot more going on that I never knew, but mine and my husband's involvement in her family drama was the last straw. She had decided to go no contact with her mom and sister. She also warned me that Amy might approach my husband in some way, but no idea how. She's also getting her extended family involved about Amy. My husband does not have any social media, so hot, and he did not give out his number to anyone at all during the wedding. He is anal about loyalty and transparency in our marriage. We have access to each other's electronics. I know he would never cheat on me. 3 days ago, someone called my husband's clinic asking to get his number for an emergency and that she needed to get a hold of his wife. The nurse who answered refused to give a physician's personal number, and the conversation got heated. My husband's colleague, another intensivist, took over and asked her to tell him what the emergency was so that he could tell my husband himself. The person on the phone argued some more, and when the doctor wouldn't give, she hung up. That friend told my husband what happened and said the woman didn't give her name but had a very high-pitched, childlike voice. My husband immediately knew it was Amy, but we have no proof. I know it was her. She must have searched my husband's name on Google and found where he worked, since his professional profile is online along with the name of his hospital. I'm getting more and more irritated by this whole thing and have gone full-on mama bear mode over my husband. He was furiously annoyed after the wedding and was saying if the genders were switched he would have definitely gotten punched, not even halfway through the wedding. My husband had terrible experiences with women before. 2 women at different times tried to baby trap him. One did some Sherlock-level manipulation and one harassed us when we were dating. He is usually a cool and calm guy, but now he hasn't been smiling or joking around with me like he always does ever since the wedding. Anywho, my uncle, our lawyer, was consulted. Security at my husband's debt and around our home have been notified. Thank you, guys. Kelly, if you're reading this, do something about your younger daughter before something bad happens. Also, you don't deserve your older daughter. A Moriarty-level manipulation, now that makes more sense, not Sherlock Tiff.